Tonight on WTOP 10 Nightly News, an Ivy League college is suspending all fraternity parties after a string of allegations.
Plus, the city of Oswego will be providing free rides to election polling sites.
And the candidates for New York State governor are making last-minute appearances before Election Day tomorrow.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Jolie Santiago.
And I'm Kyle Spizak.
Tomorrow's Election Day, and here in New York, the polls are opening in less than 12 hours.
Ahead of tomorrow's elections, the New York State gubernatorial candidates Kathy Hochul and Lee Zeldin are making their last-minute appeals to voters.
It's the sprint to the finish line. Both Kathy Hochul and Lee Zeldin pulling out all the stops in an attempt to convince voters why they are the one.
I have been running a marathon since August 24th, but I've always done it at a sprinter's pace. And this is when I really step up.
The issue that I hear about a lot from New Yorkers is that they care about wanting to be able to feel safer on the streets.
In the Soundview section of the Bronx, Zeldin talked about crime and overall public safety, especially on the subways. He spoke at the Morrison Avenue station on the number 6 train, where a man was stabbed in the neck Sunday morning. He used this time to throw jabs at former President Bill Clinton, who he says joked and laughed about skyrocketing subway crime in the city at a recent Hochul event.
After that, he then starts mocking us focused on the need to fight crime.
Hochul fired back this morning here on the Upper West Side, where she also spoke about crime. She called the accusations, quote, absurd and a fear-mongering tactic by the congressman.
He has been hyperventilating, trying to scare people for months, and New Yorkers are onto it. I'm working on a real solution. And the solution is the state, for the first time ever, is deploying state officers into the subways. We have cameras on the trains. We're helping people with severely mental health problems.
The back and forth comes after a busy weekend for the two candidates, making their presence known in various communities here in the city and upstate, not wanting to cut any corners in the race to the finish line.
You can find full coverage of the 2022 midterm elections right here on WTOP 10.
Tune into our 1-hour election special starting at 9:30 p.m.
And with Election Day approaching tomorrow, some people in Oswego may be worrying about how to get to the polls. Mayor Billy Barlow announced Saturday the city of Oswego will be providing free rides to the polls on the city's Bird scooters. Riders can use the code VOTE2022 on the Bird scooter app to redeem their free ride on Election Day.
Mayor Barlow is celebrating Rooftop Lounge's 1-year anniversary on Twitter today. The restaurant is located in downtown Oswego in the newly developed Latardo building. The Rooftop Lounge offers a luxurious and vibrant space to unwind while offering panoramic views and world-famous sunsets. Patrons can experience intimate indoor dining and unique outdoor terraces while enjoying specialty cocktails, craft beers, small plates, and charcuterie boards, and decadent desserts.
This week, SUNY Oswego is celebrating its Lakers both in the Deb and on the web. Today marks the start of National Distance Learning Week, a week to celebrate the college's fully online students. 450 undergraduate students are enrolled through Oswego's online programs this fall, an increase of 1,000% over the past 7 years. For some students, taking online classes is the only way they can get a college education. Emily Spath, an online integrative professional studies major at Oswego, says she could not have made a better choice.
Cornell University is suspending all fraternity parties and social events after several recent incidents. Campus police issued 2 alerts about an alleged sexual assault and at least 4 alleged incidents of drug-laced drinks. In a statement to students, the university says these incidents reportedly happened at off-campus fraternity-affiliated houses. Ithaca police are investigating the claims. Cornell says social events will resume once the school is confident they can happen safely.
WTOP Nightly News was off the air this weekend, but the important local news is still happening.
Let's take a look at what you might have missed. It's time for a weekend recap.
On Saturday, researchers for the Lake Effect Electrification Project held an open house at SUNY Oswego to showcase their equipment and answer student questions about their project. 2 meteorology facility members and 22 students are working to understand lake effect electrification and the impacts of wind turbines east of Lake Ontario. The project is being given more than $1 million by the National Science Foundation.
You may have noticed we switched to daylight savings time on Sunday. But the extra time is not the only change to be weary of. Oswego Fire Department Chief Rand Griffin says it is important for residents to check the batteries in their smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. The CDC says nearly 50,000 people visit the emergency room yearly in the United States due to carbon monoxide poisoning. If you can't afford an alarm or are unable to physically install it yourself, you can contact the Red Cross to see if you qualify for free assistance.
Now, Storm Team 10 Assistant Chief Meteorologist Nick Cusano.
Thank you, Kyle. So, this upcoming week, we will be having a warm, dry couple of days, some nice couple of days, sunny. We'll be having the return of the heat that we had last week with high temperatures. It's going to be a rainy Veterans Day, and there's going to be possible snow Sunday, which I know that's everyone's least favorite word, snow in this time of year, but it's about time. All that and more right after the break. But we're going first back to the dust.
Coming up later tonight, a closer look at tomorrow's midterm elections nationwide.
And how Twitter may struggle to prevent election misinformation.
Only on WTOP.
DeCarlo on the rebound! Alex DeCarlo!
Yeah, it's been a wild game so far. A lot of high scoring, so definitely tighten it up and play out that full 60 minutes.
Welcome back to the best show on WTOP 10 out on our own Oswego.
Did you hear that Bad Bunny's going to be in Canada over spring break,
I heard that one.
Drink the cognac. The week.
Oh my God.
Roll it.
The Kinda Late Show with Chloe and Anna. Like licorice, Twizzlers, absolutely nasty. The thought of turkey is just nauseating.
I think you're wrong, is what I think.
You think I'm wrong a lot of times.
I do think you're wrong a lot.
To start off, let's have a fun little, word of the meteorology, word of the day. So, in honor of Project Lee and what happened at the open house this weekend, I want to talk about thunder snow, which it's really common, not common, it's a common sense word. Thunder snow, thunder and lightning. It's happening during a snowstorm. It's more dangerous than normal due to the snow particles are just different from how rain is, and the visibility is really low. So you want to make sure if you are in thunderstorm, make sure you stay safe. For tonight, it's going to be 10 p.m. It's going to be breezy, 35 degrees. As we go into the night, 2 a.m., again, it's going to be clear throughout the entire night, 33 degrees, and we keep on dropping to 8 a.m. in the morning, where it's going to be 32 degrees. And as we go on for tomorrow, for Election Day, we'll be talking about how it's going to be warming up a little bit. It's going to be about 46 degrees, partly cloudy, but all the clouds will probably happen towards the evening or night. It's going to be clear out for most of the day, though. And it's going to be north, 10 to 50 miles per hour winds. So, no using rain as an excuse not to vote. So go out and vote. And as we continue on into the next part of the forecast, if it would go on, that would be awesome. There we go, 5-day forecast. So Tuesday, we're going to be talking about 46. As I said before, this entire week, it's going to be warming up, 58, 68. Look at those, double 68s. It's almost like the 72, or I think it was 74 was our high last week. So we're getting back up there, but it probably won't happen due to the rain that's going to be happening because of subtropical storm down in Florida. Its name is Nicole. We're not sure if it's going to be a hurricane yet, but it is going to most likely either hit Florida or North Carolina. But we're going up through the coast and bring us some of that nice little drizzle rain. Nothing really heavy, but it's just kind of a cool thing, something that started out in the Atlantic Ocean, coming all the way up to us, giving us some rain, and kind of cooling us down for the weekend. Where I'm not going to say it, but might be some snow Sunday, but you can find that out for later on in the week. But first, now let's go over to the desk.
Thanks, Nick. High inflation rates are weighing down on Americans, with nearly everything getting more expensive. Data shows consumers are relying more on their savings accounts and credit cards. New data released by the Federal Reserve suggests that American consumers borrowed another $25 billion in September. Borrowing in September increased at a seasonal adjusted annual rate of 6.4%. Revolving debt, including credit card debts, grew by 8.7%. Meanwhile, non-revolving debt, which includes student loans, increased by 5.7%.
Control of both chambers of Congress are at stake in tomorrow's election. Karen Kaifa reports from Capitol Hill with a closer look at the final push from candidates before Election Day.
President Joe Biden isn't on the ballot, but for most Americans, it's their first chance to weigh in on his party and policies.
This election isn't a referendum, it's a choice. It's a choice between two fundamentally different visions of America.
Among states taking center stage in the battle for the U.S. Senate, tight races in 4 that President Biden flipped in the 2020 presidential election: Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia, and Pennsylvania, where Biden and former President Barack Obama stumped Saturday.
Democracy itself is on the ballot. The stakes are high.
And former President Donald Trump also rallied.
This election is your chance to make your voice heard,
underscoring how 2022 may foreshadow the 2024 presidential contest. Polls indicate most voters are looking at the economy right now as they cast ballots. Democrats touted Friday's October jobs report and unemployment still near a half-century low as a sign their economic policies are working, while Republicans point to the highest inflation in 40 years.
The inflation crushing our pocketbooks, can't fill up our tank, can't fill our grocery cart.
Abortion is a human right. Democrats hope the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade in June will motivate voters, especially women, while Republicans have accused Democrats of being weak on crime, especially in major cities. Both parties eager to drive turnout in their favor. On Capitol Hill, I'm Karen Kaifa.
The midterm election will determine the balance of power in Washington for the next 2 years.
Twitter has long been a leader in countering misinformation and protecting elections, but that may be changing. Paul Barrett, the deputy director of New York University's Stern Center for Business and Human Rights, says because of Elon Musk's massive layoffs, the employees that would be flagging misinformation are either already fired or are distracted, thinking they might be next. Barrett says Twitter could face threats, including misleading claims of election fraud, attempts at voter intimidation, or violent rhetoric on the day of election.
In international news, the Kremlin says Russia is open in negotiations with the Ukraine. However, a Kremlin spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, says it's not the right moment, especially after Kyiv passed a law not to continue any negotiations. This law that Peskov is referring to is the decree passed by Ukrainian President Zelensky earlier in October. The decree formally rules out negotiations with the Russian President Putin. The law was passed in response to Russia's illegal attempt of annexing portions of Ukraine.
The United Nations Climate Change Conference, known as COP27, is happening in Egypt. World leaders are set to discuss whether poorer countries, which have been hit by climate disasters, could be compensated by wealthy nations. The president of the EU, Ursula von der Leyen, says this is a big step forward, but says there is more work to do.
More. Europe is doing its fair share, $23 billion or euros. We've said we're going to pledge that last year. We did it. And we're going to give more than 23 billion euros this year too. But you're right. I mean, there's still a gap, and this gap has to be filled.
Coming up, a new study about the popularity of vaping in the U.S.
And a change may be coming to Apple's Siri feature.
I love you.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Remember the best planned 90 minutes of your life? Or that surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple?
Chop the pineapple.
Nope, I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope, I'm high. Let's order in.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
Hi everyone, I'm Austin.
And I'm Haley, and we're from Vote Oswego.
Election day is Tuesday, November 8th. Do you have a plan to vote?
Go to voterlookup.elections.ny.gov to find your assigned polling place or fill out your absentee ballot and have it postmarked by Election Day.
Contact Vote Oswego through Instagram DMs with any questions you may have. Do your part and vote.
Welcome back to Nightly News. That was a message from our friends at Vote Oswego.
Now, here's your health and consumer report.
Soon, Apple users may not have to greet Siri to wake up in the upcoming months. The iPhone manufacturing company is working to update Siri, so users do not have to say, "Hey Siri." Instead, they will only have to say Siri. The move will help Apple compete with Amazon, whose users only have to say Alexa. Many analysts say the move will help bring plenty of new functionality to Siri.
Comedian Kathy Griffin is suspended from Twitter for impersonating the company's new owner, Elon Musk. Griffin is the first celebrity to lose Twitter privileges after a wave of users impersonated Musk over the weekend, in attempts to highlight potential flaws in the company's new verification system. Twitter plans to start an $8 subscription to keep blue checks, but it says it decided to delay the change because of midterms.
One guaranteed way to beat inflation is growing in popularity. The Treasury Department has issued new bonds, meaning a great return on inflation-protected bonds. In today's Consumer Watch, what experts have to say.
A silver lining for investors amid historic inflation? Series 1 savings bonds.
But there are people in the economy who aren't doing well. They're actually profiting from this.
Experts say the interest rates that you earn are fantastic due to the Federal Reserve's repeated moves to cool the economy and lower inflation. Analysts say demand has gone up tremendously because the I-bond is protected from inflation and it offers a safe return.
So if you want to put some money into a fixed income asset that is inflation protected, I-bonds might be a great strategy for you.
The Treasury Department has announced a new rate, saying it will pay 6.89% through April of next year. That's down from the bond's previously historic high of 9.62 rate, which caused demand to explode last month, briefly causing the Treasury website to crash.
The Treasury said from November of 2021 till October 28th, when the deadline for that 9.62% rate expired, $35 billion in money flowed into I-bonds. So that's people with money.
Experts say if you decide to invest in these bonds, here are some possible downsides that you should consider. 1. You can't cash it out for at least 1 year. 2. It takes 5 years to get the total amount of interest. 3. The incentive might be short-lived because the rate could come down as the Fed continues to take action. And experts remind you to invest wisely.
So I like to tell folks, don't invest any money that you don't need for at least 10 years.
For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Many young e-cigarette users say they vape for 5 minutes after they wake up. The study comes from the medical journal Gamma Network Open. It says that while usage of e-cigarettes has declined in recent years, those who do vape are starting younger than ever before. Researchers say data shows an increased use of nicotine in response to anxiety and depression during the pandemic. We're coming off a big weekend of Lakers sports.
Our boy Alex Brooks is here in studio. Alex, what do we have to look forward for the week?
Thanks, guys. World Series wrapped up this weekend, a thrilling back and forth Sunday night, and Whiteout weekend was nothing short of amazing. All this coming up after the break.
Now it is time for Black Card Revoke. Like, what's this apology about now?
At least that's what I feel like. I don't know. I thought it was cute. You know?
I thought it was too.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so what about this black lace ensemble? You did a little song.
Yeah, I see it.
You did a little something.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna figure it out though. But it won't
Breathe for the swag.
Yeah.
And I'm Donna. And this is the Sunset Show. Grab your low-rise jeans because we're taking it back to the 2000s. Let's go, girls. Us and low-rise jeans. Together. One of the boys. Boy.
Sorry, it's my agent. He told me that you're canceled.
Shebangy.
Welcome back to the Kind of Lake Show, where we talk about anything and everything going on in our lives and yours.
Well, my birthday was November 13th, so it's been quite some time.
I think at the end we saw him get up.
I did that. I can't.
It's a winner, and I did bring a sweater for everyone.
Here you go!
I know your dreams.
You started the paper throwing, just the immaturity. You lost before you even argued.
Pretty insane that the Clippers, 10 of the last 11 postseasons, they're in there.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Alex Brooks with your sports report, and let's get right into it. The biggest weekend in Oswego hockey was in full effect as the men's hockey team welcomed the Plattsburgh Cardinals and the Potsdam Bears for the second whiteout in 2022. The Lakers stayed consistent in both games by scoring 5 goals each en route to a whiteout weekend sweep against 2 SUNYAC opponents. Shane Bull had yourself a weekend with 3 goals and 1 assist, earning him SUNYAC Athlete of the Week honors. The Lakers look to build their momentum against Cortland this Friday on the road at 7 p.m. Switching over to the women's side of the ice, the women's hockey team traveled to Potsdam and Canton this weekend in the Newell. They lost a tough game against the Bears on Friday, but they came back and beat the Roos 4-1 on Saturday for their first win of the season. The Lakers' goals were scored by 4 different playmakers, which included Maya Booth, Kylie Grugan, Ashlyn McGrath, and Avery Webster. The Lakers are 1-1 in the Newell and look to get above 500 against Morrisville for an away-home doubleheader this weekend. The Houston Astros won Game 6 Saturday night to clinch their second World Series title in the last 5 years. It was a historic run to the Fall Classic, which included 106 wins in the regular season, along with pitching 2 combined no-hitters, including 1 in the World Series. The Houston Astros have made the World Series 4 of the 5 years, and with the help of World Series MVP Jeremy Pena, the Astros defeated the Phillies to put a cap on an amazing season. Let's head up to the Big Apple as one of the biggest upsets from Sunday included the now 6-3 New York Jets holding off MVP hopeful Josh Allen at MetLife Stadium. Jets QB Zach Wilson was able to go toe-to-toe with Allen and set up a late game winning drive that capped off a 20-17 victory for the New York Green. Zach Wilson ended the game with 154 yards and a touchdown, while Josh Allen had 2 interceptions. This game may count for playoff positioning come December and January. We'll head to Arrowhead for some Sunday night football between the first-place Titans and the first-place Chiefs. Fast forward to the start of the second quarter. McCole Hardman gets the reception, and he says, "No, sir, I'm going to take it to the house," as they pat their lead up to 10. We go to the next drives for the Titans. Derrick Henry takes it in the Wildcat, and he takes it for himself. And you got to give it to the best player for the Titans. The Titans are up 2. Not even 3 minutes later, Derrick Henry showing people what he can do. He breaks out an opening, and he could go all the way. And he is stopped at the 23-yard line to set his team up in the red zone. Same drive, second and goal. You don't call him King Henry if he can't just do that. His second TD of the game, and the Titans go into halftime with the lead. Fast forward to crunch time as the Chiefs are down 8. Pat Mahomes has to pull some heroic magic. He scrambles, he makes a move, and he barrels his way into the end zone as the Chiefs would convert and tie the game up. We go to overtime in Sunday Night Football. Harrison Butker nails a 28-yard field goal to take the lead, and that would end up being the nail in the coffin as the Chiefs improved to 6-3. And guys, Mahomes is just that guy.
I mean, yeah, I gotta say it. I wasn't exactly a fan of him over the years, but he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex. Stick around. We'll be back with our final story of the night after the break.
The Kinda Late Show with Chloe and Anna. Like licorice, Twizzlers, absolutely nasty.
The thought of turkey is just nauseating.
I think you're wrong, is what I think.
You think I'm wrong a lot of time.
I do think you're wrong a lot.
Look at that. It's so sad.
Here's our weather elements and our social media on Saturday. And that's optional.
Welcome back to Nightly News. The Oklahoma City Zoo is celebrating the birth of 4 new lion cubs, and they're asking for the public's help in naming them.
3 of the lion cubs are female and 1 is male. Zookeepers are putting the potential names for the cubs into 3 groups.
One group has traditional African names, another would honor the lioness's mother.
The third group pays tribute to the Sooner State, borrowing the names of Oklahoma cities like Ada and Shawnee. You can vote on the OKC Zoo's website through tonight, and winners will be announced Wednesday.
They look so cute.
I gotta say, I mean, I'm a dog guy, but if it was a lion, man, I gotta go with the lion.
Gotta go with it.
You can't not.
No, yeah, definitely. Well, that's our report for tonight. Be sure to stay tuned for the break with Scott and Kate.
Thank you for watching, and have a great night, everybody.